we're going to start with Nosson on Ve'era. And, Nosson explains that every Jew is slated for very great things. We really are made for true freedom. True freedom is connecting to Hashem, Be'emes V'Samim, and keeping the Torah the way we should. That's what true freedom is. He said, Avdus, the concept of slavery is not something that we can't take slavery. We can't take Avdus. We can't do it. It's too hard for us. There's something called Ibad Hashem. But slavery is person slave to tithes, person slave to different things, different what people say, this different things like this. That's really completely the opposite of Jewish Hashem. It's very difficult for Jewish Hashem to deal with that. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So that's one of the big messages of Yetzias Mitzrayim, which we're, of course, in that process now. Yetzias Mitzrayim, one of the big messages is that we need to leave Me'abdus Lacherus. We left. Exactly what happened. And that's why it's not an accident. Like the Zohar says, why, Shoyim goes until Mishpatim. Mishpatim starts out with Eved Ivri. How likely was it to get an Eved Ivri? Eved Ivri is a really hard halacha to fulfill. Guy has to have stolen not more than his value. The person dealing with the Eved, he's got all sorts of different restrictions on him. What can he work? What can he work? If he has a wife, he has to give another wife. It's like the guy's got a whole list of halachas of what to do. It says a person who bought an Eved Ivri bought a master for himself because it's so complicated. The halachas. The Alter Mikelem actually says that no one would have ever taken an Eved Ivri. It usually was not worth the money. You just want to help another fellow Jew, so you're like, okay, I'll take him in, I'll help him rehabilitate. So he won't steal, so he won't get into debt, so whatever it is, I'll help him out. He's mamish, the guy's altruistically dealing with this person. He buys him and he helps him, he gives him gifts there, whatever it is. It's like the whole thing of what's going on here with this Eved. And that's not by accident that Parshas Mishpatim starts specifically with that. There's some very, very important halachas in Parshas Mishpatim. They would seem a lot more usual, a lot more common than this Eved situation. 6 years, this and that, what's going on? So the whole idea of the Eved, because that's the theme. The main element of this Avdus is a person has challenges in terms of Avdus, in terms of serving Hashem. And that's a great part of things. We have to get out of the Avdus. That's what we're doing in Mitzrayim, leaving Mitzrayim, we're getting out of the Avdus. He says, that's one of the main messages of Yetzias Mitzrayim. One of the main messages of Yetzias Mitzrayim is that we leave from Avdus to Cherus. We are free. We're finally free. That's one of the main messages of what this Yetzias Mitzrayim is about. The Yetzias Mitzrayim, all these things, all these makis, all these inyanim, have to learn. A person has to learn how to connect in the right way to be able to get to Yetzias Mitzrayim, to leave Egypt. So that's a very, very big part of things. He says that's the Indian of every Jew when he's doing physical labor. So on the one hand, you have to do physical labor. If you don't move physically, you can't live. Hashem made it. We don't do well when we don't move much. We have to move. We have to do stuff. We have to, other than Yulad, yes, Ashim Yishamal, the Torah, no question. But a person still has to move. He has to do exercise. The Rambam says you might eat well. He said, but if you don't exercise, a person is prone to be sick. That's the normal situation. A person has to exercise. He's got to move around. He moves around. It's good for him. He lasts longer, generally speaking. He's healthier. It's something important for him. He has to move around. It's not the shot. You can't have any Avdus. You have to have the work, but you have to know that the main element is the ruchnius, and that really all this shefol bracha, it's really ruchnius. It's very hard to remember these things. It's very hard to really live with these things. It's easy just to it's very easy to take these sort of concepts and use them as a kind of crutch. Like whatever, work, you don't work. It's a big ticket. The working is a very big, very, very, very big ticket. A person can be zocher to ha'aras haratzin. It's a lashon there, and that Nosson over there. He says a person is zocher to this murdik, or he said, through working he can be zocher to all kapara of every avera. Tremendous atonement, because a person, especially if he works in the right focus, he's working the right way because it's the opposite of his nature. He's got to overcome his nature. His nature is really he's supposed to be where this isn't shayach to him at all. We're in this place of goals, so that's what we need to have right now. That's what we're holding right now. But really the way things are. That's the way. It's the opposite of what works for us. We have to be careful not to really sink into others. We can't be a slave. We can't be enslaved. Be very careful not to let a person, not to allow us to be enslaved. The Alter Vardik was very into this same concept, this idea of like not being enslaved, proving that you're not a sheep. Just do what everyone does. That's his koyach, his strength. That's what he did. That was his Indian. You have to show it. You have to be it. You have to get there. You have to try and remember the story I told. The one story I told, I think, not too long ago, so I don't want to repeat it. But it's amazing, amazing things. He's did a lot of amazing stuff about what the Alter Vardik, how what levels he made, he reached by being in this place, this total connection to Hashem, where he doesn't care what anyone thinks. He just wants to be with Hashem. He just wants to connect. He says, the Olam, the Goylam, the Olam, they're stupid. But who cares, the Olam? You have to really try to be connected, to be who you're supposed to be what you're supposed to do. Make sure things happen the way they're supposed to happen. It's very, very easy to be totally, utterly under the thumb of the Yetzer Hara and not to notice. Totally, it's very, very easy. A place where a person's exactly what the Yetzer Hara wants him to be, he has no idea. Completely clueless. He doesn't know. He doesn't understand. No. It's very, very easy to get to that place. So the Alter Vardik was very, very much into this place of this avoda, this very, very beautiful work of connecting to Hashem and staying connected to Hashem no matter what. Connecting to Hashem and staying connected to Hashem no matter what. Not letting the Welt determine. Not letting the Welt determine, not letting the people determine where you are and who you are and what you need to do and what your goal should be. None of these things. Very, very much. That was his thing. One time he was at a whole group of these Gedolim. The Gedolim, I don't know what you have, a whole group of Gedolim, and then they were they were eating together, I think. Some restaurant or some hotel. I don't know exactly how it worked exactly. But they were bringing food, maybe in a private house. There was a waiter bringing the food, whatever. And Alter Vardik was there with his son-in-law, Rav Aaron Yafin. And they've been talking about very, very lofty things. And they brought the soup, and he's like, great soup. And he started eating it. The soup is so good. It's like, I was looking at it like this weirdo, this oddball is talking about the soup in such a enthusiastic manner. And after he left, he told his son, he said, I don't even know if anyone hopped that the idea for me, I was trying very much to deflate, the person gets so mechubit, the God of the Gedolim, and like, I was trying to like sort of, just okay, can you just take it easy, as an Indian, you don't want to be beholden and you don't want to buy this image, like, the God of the door, I was like, give me a break, like that's not, that's not positive, it's not what's Hashem. He had a whole avoda and how to bring things down in a way that's going to be the way it's supposed to be. It's going to be how it's supposed to be. He had a ganza avoda, like what to do, how to do. It's very, very, very deep limud of how not to care. Don't be too good. Don't be too inflated. He had a whole ganza avoda. Ganza avoda. Mamish avoda. Mamish avoda. He was once caught. He was in the Soviet Russia. He had these 7 yeshivas. In Soviet Russia, it was illegal to have yeshiva in Soviet Russia. A person could be killed, summarily shot for having one yeshiva. And he had 70 yeshivas. And he would travel down. And he was on a train, a moving train. And so it was like, this is Jason Horowitz. The rabbi. And he simply jumped right off it. He was fine. He was okay. Jumped off the train. Go find me now. He was very, very chazak, no question. The story with him, he was once with someone also. They walked into a car that was full of these Russian soldiers. There's one guy there, the stars, whatever. I don't know exactly what his rank was, the highest. Their commanding officers, whole big platoon of soldiers, whatever it was. She walked over to him. He's like, "You got a light?" And he like it was a cigar. "You got a light?" And like with a lot of brazenness, gave him a light. He blew the smoke right in his face. Like the whole thing. You know, again, I'm not advocating people should be impolite or whatever. There was there's an Indian of learning how to. You have to know when and what, but like there's an Indian of learning how to act in a way and when and what, to break through all these klippas and all these difficult things and all these. And to realize I don't want to be an Evid. I don't want to be an Evid. I don't want to be an Evid to other people's perceptions. I don't want to be an Evid to my perception. I want to be a Ben Chorin, and that's what I really want. And that's what we have to strive for and yearn and want. Till Bez Hashem, we're going to be Zocha. What you want, you get. But you want to be a Ben Chorin. And that's part of what Pesach's all about, freeing ourselves from all this, all this abdus, all this slavery. A person's a slave, mamish. She's mamish a slave. People think that slavery was abolished in America, whatever it is, in the world over. Maybe that's true, but not. There are other types of slavery. It's not the same. There's a story with Rav Yashiv. Someone to Rav Yashiv, Rosh Kolel, Rav Katriel Kaplan. He was Rosh Kolel in Torah Slachem for quite a while. So, learned from a little Baruch Hashem. So he told me that someone once went to Rav Yashiv, and he asked him, maybe it was even him. I don't even know, because it says that we hold the halacha l'maisa. Like of Tarfon, I think, right? In the Nosson over there, in the end of Kedushin over there. So we have this thing of being metaher. You're metaher a mamzer. How? Person marries a slave, and then a shivcha, whatever it is, and then the children is mishachra. So he has children. So yes, it's true that halachically speaking, because he has a flaw in his gene pool now. A spiritual flaw that's going to make mamzerim. So halachically speaking, there is no continuity, but that's to break the chain. To break the chain of being a mamzer. Then he frees the child's ben chorin. Again, everybody get chorin, fine. Or whatever it is. Free slave, whatever it is. So Rav Yashiv, can I do that today? Has money, a little, whatever. So let's convince this lady, somebody who's thinking anyway to convert, maybe not thinking anyway to convert, whatever it is, she'll sell some of its slavery. He'll have clear name with her that not Chas v'Shalom won't take unfair advantage or whatever, and free the slave. She's like, it's not going to work. He's like, why not? He's like, you can. He's like, what's the problem? It says the halach is this. Here, it'll make it halachically the kinyan. He's like, do whatever you want, but it doesn't work. And that's because today, again, there's no slavery. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if presumably the pshat is because if the whole country there's no such thing as slavery, then there's no such thing. Like there's no end of akazeh. Maybe I heard from my uncle actually. I don't remember. I heard from my uncle. Maybe Rav Katriel told me the pshat. He says he thinks I don't remember. But actually, he said you can do what you want, but it's not going to help because there's no such thing as slavery. But there is slavery. A person can be never the biggest slave. Today, the guy's a slave to his telephone, to his who knows what, all these shtuyot, to the likes or whatever people what they do today. Never these the fake things. He's living for the fake things that are useless. Useless in the real world, useless in any real way, and that's it. He's a slave. Now he's happy. So we commented bad. Now he's sad. Now this. We want to be zocha to be ben chayru. We want to be free. Oh. Yeah, that's what we say, right? We say in the beginning of the Haggadah. Hashta Avdei, Shana, right? Now we're Avadim. There's a Bechina of Avdus. We want to get rid of the Avdus. That's the purpose of Zechus Yitzrayim and Bechlal. I want to get out of the Avdus. Free me. Eved Hashem. Eved Hashem is the biggest freedom, right? Choros, right? Choros, Luchos, Bechina. Cheros is the aspect of Luchos connected to the Torah in a real way. Yes, that's Cheros. That's real freedom. Now we have to work on it. To chapra and find the right eitzes, the right strategies, how to really be a ben chorin. Like just to start, at least to yearn to be a ben chorin. Say, I'm not a ben chorin. Hashem, I want to be a ben chorin. Very least, and we'll get there. That's a big part of what Sholvim is about. This idea of yearning, like Hashem freed us from slavery. He freed them. He can free us. Frees us. Just hold on. Hold strong. Like never giving up. Like being yearning and wanting. And Hashem will definitely help. That's how Nosson explains that we should have stayed longer in Mitzrayim. We couldn't stay longer. Why not? Because we stayed longer. That would be the end. If we stayed longer, we would have been caught in this situation where we couldn't leave. Sharanun, we're full of Sharanun, it's over. What's the Sharanun? What would happen? So what does it mean? What were they doing before? What were they doing after? They weren't doing much good exactly. They were doing what they were doing. They were careful in certain ways. And then what, Mitzrayim said, what do these guys also serve idolatry? They served idolatry. They weren't doing the best things necessarily. They weren't the biggest tzaddikim in Mitzrayim. They were, generally speaking, there was a lot of personal purity. They were in a good place. They were in a good place, it says, in terms of they didn't change their dress and their language. They sort of stuck together. That was very good. Right, the names. But they weren't in the best place. So what's the Sharnum? What would have happened? What is the Sharnum? What was going to happen? Hashem said, oh no, now Sharnum, no good. I'll take them out. It's like, what would happen? So Nosson says nothing. But they would have given up to such a deep extent that there was no convincing them. That was it would have been too gichad, too much. It would have been very, very difficult. Even as it was, again, I always say this Leshem every year. I'll say it now. I guess the Leshem says that a great part of the problems that kept failing all these tests Hashem gave them, a lot of the problems was that they're testing Hashem kilo, they're messing up whatever it is, and a lot of the problems was just they couldn't believe in themselves. They couldn't believe that Hashem really took us out of Mitzrayim, he really loves us, he really wants. They just, even at only 49 levels of impurity, they still had a hard time. 50 would have been very, very difficult. That's why the Chaim Kodesh says only before the Torah was given. That's why 49 and the 50 you can't get back from. After it was given any level. And the Parshas you could explain it's the same thing. That the Torah teaches you that there's no giving up. Mela, there is no 50th level. 49 Nebuch versus wherever he is. And he has to hold on, but there's no such thing as despair, no matter what. That's the biggest lesson. We just have to yearn and want. This is not what I want. I don't want to be an Eved. I want to be a Ben Chorer. Hashem, please don't be a Chorer. Just wait. And try to use my time while waiting. Oh, Hashem shall be zocher. 50th level of purity, opposite of the negative, and get out of the avdus, free ourselves, finally go free. See, after emancipation, so have equality. If want to free the slaves, you want to get out. Hashem shall be so.